morning. Welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. Today is Monday, April 17th, 2023. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. The team's offseason program officially begins today, and Brock Purdy will be in attendance despite rehabbing his injured elbow. That's not exactly surprising because the first 2 weeks of the program are just meetings, strength and conditioning, and rehabilitation. But David Lombardi and Matt Barrows nonetheless have a story in The Athletic calling Purdy's attendance a good sign, and it's certainly not a bad sign. But something else happened with Purdy over the weekend that was, well, kind of weird. On Friday, he was doing interviews for a partnership with Buffalo Wild Wings. Apparently, he did multiple interviews, as a matter of fact. Yahoo Sports wrote up some of the comments in a very strange way. Yahoo said, quote, "That remains an early step in recovery. Purdy saying Friday he's," and now they're quoting Brock, "not really sure, honestly, whether he'll play in 2023 as he takes it," quote again, "one day at a time." Now that seems pretty significant to me, right? I mean, John Lynch said they hope Brock's going to be back by training camp. Kyle Shanahan said it could be as late as week 4. And now Brock Purdy is saying he's not sure he'll be able to play at all this year. Here's the other weird thing. Nobody on the 49ers beat said a word about it. That raised some red flags with me. Now remember, Yahoo doesn't quote Brock as saying himself that he might not be able to play this year. It quotes him saying that he's not sure, then closes the quotes and adds the stuff about missing the year. Usually that kind of thing is done when the quote itself isn't direct, but the context of the question implies it. But with something this big, I don't think Yahoo should have written it up that way. If you are not sure that Brock said, "I might not be able to play in 2023, you can't leave any ambiguity there because that is a massive, massive story. That would have been the news of all news. So while some people are saying this was a Friday news dump, this is bad news, I'm not going there. And I know usually I'm that guy. I'm going the opposite direction in this one. I think the fact that they don't have a direct quote and the fact that none of the 49ers beat writers even mentioned any of this leads me to believe that that is not what Brock said, especially because if you look at the entire rest of the context of the article, it's all about how the recovery is going well, how things are on track, how he's preparing to come back, preparing for the season. So I don't think that this is anything to panic about. And again, I know I'm usually on the other side of the fence, but I got to call it like I see it. And in this case, the more I think about it, the less I worry. One other piece of housekeeping, the Niners are re-signing veteran defensive lineman Kerry Hyder. He's been, of course, a solid rotational piece for the Niners. They need some veteran presence in there because they lost a few guys in the offseason, so that is a solid, solid move. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Monday, life for the Niners may have gotten a bit easier in 2023 because Cardinals safety Budda Baker has officially requested a trade. You can read all about the juicy details in Doug Haller's story in The Athletic. One thing to watch. The hot rumor in the NFL late on Friday was that Texans GM Nick Caserio was going to leave the team and return to the Patriots front office after the draft. Mike Silver then swooped in and said word around the water cooler is that 49ers assistant GM Adam Peters would be one of the people the Texans would look at to be their new GM. And one thing you may have missed, the 49ers could be losing another key member of the brain trust. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk reported that cap guru Parag Marathe would become the primary owner of Leeds United if the 49ers close their deal to buy that Premier League soccer team. Quote, "We feel like we've done a pretty good job in transitioning the 49ers, Marathe told Sports Business Journal. We know how to transition from a lemonade stand to a more sophisticated business operation. There was no word on whether Parag Marathe's ownership of Leeds United would impact his duties with the 49ers, but you got to think it would affect him at least a little, don't you?" That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Enjoy your Monday, everybody. Stay tuned for Under Review with Stats and Vish. We'll be live at 10 a.m. Pacific time on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. We're going to talk about the Adam Peters rumor, this weirdness with Brock Purdy, plus the beginning of the 49ers offseason program. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk tomorrow.